Abzuyama Kwaba, Epa POG, a political media, so said the Danny die, and see a J. Jesse and I my Ghana, and political headlines in the B, and I have no see the Babasum a POG, a better for, and a Ghana mine, almost one with the echo, and the Eba, or my Ghana, a political space in him. Now, measure says a nail first time or the Eba, a POG media, so, and the any book also basically a drop subscription. Now, I see the notification bell no say on sabeti me ka daily update ni bi na wati me so a share na person din komo so fa dwumade ho a obeti me so abo e the rather comment section ho na me njembre p ye bebo e the ra ensem ni mu na ye de ni chia na de ni enso e de che ye enrada ye the by-election and nso etimi call so e wo ye Akwàtià e ma ye the new patriotic party ye omo candidate almost presenting no say ono so enko gina akono ono so etimi di nkuku anache se enrada no eye enije kese pa so etimi call edema de NDC anache se Akwàtià ebe dani green anache se enije enso eba edema eye NDC na we na ache se NPP for no te omonte ase the science almost ede eye some reports bi and also magada reports bi ede akoto eye Yohunu eye the IGP and the akoto ne dex so say one hwehwem na say by-election so say violence bi and as mentem wase bi and so etimi call so a say almost IGP anim so no so be act quick now we na IGP Yohunu and so about and so I bet say SR reports no dey aba no bibia and SR reports no legit and as no kwebia room na the man I'll show almost call Akwàtià no almost etimi bo adwuma pa say election and also timi calls na say kamia ko say ekoye free and esa so ye fair mentim ho ase bia so entimi ansi and also betimi distracted election no to say they happen e wo abelekuma mpanyimfo no bi enso ehun timi kan na busu amen jemre pi me say bebo e the rajumedi ni mudase.
Dear Frimpong, no clear thoughts on whether or not the New Patriotic Party will indeed accept the outcome of the election. But now it's been declared, and I was there, when, of course, the verdict went in favor of the NDC. So will the New Patriotic Party, first of all, accept this? Joining me now, Director of Communications for the New Patriotic Party, Richard Ahyangwa. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. I mean, almost all your party members had literally run away before the declaration of the results.
Well, good evening.
Sorry, apologies. I didn't welcome you.
Sorry. No, it's okay. And,
so uncultured of an everyone.
It's okay because you are too eager to get into the issues. I think that the results are here, and the efforts that we put in have not yielded the outcome we're looking for. Mm-hmm. But by and large, we accept the outcome. But there are issues to be addressed. Mm-hmm. I hope that the NDC takes a very close look at itself, its conduct in Akwàtià. What ended this so-called victory is questionable in my view. A lot of undemocratic things were done. And, but then, be it as it may, democracy must continue. We support the outcome, and we think that a good people of Akwàtià deserve the occasion to, to have their MP do the work that they expect him to do for them.
We'll dig into the statement that you've released, but tell me if I'm wrong. This is by far one of the most peaceful by-elections we've ever had.
If you ask me, comparing this to Snub, I'd say Snub was much peaceful, was a bit more open, cordial. It was an atmosphere where you could see every political party had a space to campaign, and the initial events leading to it, there was a lot of tension in the air. The NDC did quite a lot to intimidate. So part of this victory is intimidation tactics that was deployed by the NDC elaborately that contributed to their victory. So
give me one evidence, Richard. Give me one evidence that the NDC indeed intimidated the NPP in this by-election.
Well, not intimidate the NPP, but create an atmosphere of tension in the constituency. You saw what the turnout was, So a lot of people felt, well, I'm not going to go to vote, and they didn't go out to vote. A good turnout would have inured to the benefit of the New Patriotic Party, and the NDC knows that. And so systematically, they created that tension that led to people staying away from the polls. So in comparing this to Snub, I think that it was more freer, more open. You have a lot of police presence in Snub as well. But then it was such that people saw the police as coming there to provide them security, whereas now, in this occasion, people thought that the police were not there to support. You saw the incident, and why you were asking for an incident, you saw the incident to do with our third vice chair. And it's completely unreasonable to see somebody having an interview like you and I having, and somebody just come accost him, was literally just waiting for him to finish, and accost him, assaulted him. Now, the question is, where is our father, Sofo Azoka? Where is he now? Is he answering for that abuse, that invasion of the privacy of an individual who has done nothing to deserve what he did to him? Where is he? That's a systematic effort to try and create tension. Let people know that if you mess up, there's violence waiting. But that should not be an atmosphere for democracy. People are supposed to go there solemnly to exercise their franchise, to be able to select at their own volition.
The statement that you've just issued from your quarters points out that you'll be formally indicating your report to the Ghana Police Service. Exactly what are you expecting from the IGP? Some would say after election, no campaign.
Well, but there must be justice, right? And there must be lessons to be learned from this systematic use of violence to try to aid political outcome, which the NDC is now specializing itself in. You saw in the interviews on your colleagues captured it, saying that we were actually expecting to see this person, that person, and this person. And he asked the question, why did most of our people step away or then were not there? Can you imagine a situation where these individuals, they say they are looking out there? Before the election, they said they will bring the Black Maria, and anybody they see, they will arrest them and lock them up there. So the NDC is actually engaged in some exploitation of violence and use of violence, integrating it, I don't want to say smartly, but rather disingenuously into electoral politics to advance their cause. And I think that that's regrettable, and all of us must speak against it, really.
Richard, if Chief Azoka is not arrested, well, what then will happen?
Well, it's an indictment to all of us as society, you included, me included, to see that if that was done to you, you won't accept it. If that is done to another person, it's not accepted. So why do we allow for him to do it? They say, why is the NDC, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, okay, watching the IGP, watching somebody? So today, right, if you and I get on the street and I do the same thing to you, do you think that if you take me, or you would be able to take me to go to the police and say, I've invaded your privacy or as your private space, or I've assaulted you in any way, shape, or form? Because Azoka is walking free. He did that because he's an NDC member. He did that and abused an individual, especially when, I'm coming, just a quick one.
I may appear a bit insensitive.
Please go ahead.
But this individual involved here is also known for violent rhetoric. Your official, I mean. Who
That's your perception. But has he assaulted? Yes, has he assaulted you? Has he assaulted Sofo Azoka? Has he?
But his rhetoric,
but I'm
violence begets violence.
Can anybody arrest you for rhetoric? Can anybody?
But
if that is the case,
hold on. If that's the case, that's the kind of treatment.
Please, let's not indulge this. If that is the case, then the national chairman of the NDC should be arrested, because much of his rhetoric in Akwàtià was inflammatory, creating a certain atmosphere of support of Galamsey, which all of us want to fight. So if that's the case, then he should be arrested. But I'm just saying that what is wrong is wrong. What Sofo Azoka did is completely wrong. You should condemn it roundly. There cannot be any form of justification.
Will you condemn your party official as well for violent rhetoric?
Who's on my party?
The gentleman at the center of this.
You are not focused on the conversation. You are just trying to create a ruse. He hasn't done anything.
Yeah, but you know some of the comments he's made prior to the election.
What are you talking about?
Creating the same atmosphere
No. I just gave you an example. Can anybody be arrested for speaking politically? The national chairman of the NDC, when you do this, what does it mean?
Victory, maybe. Isn't it?
Does that mean victory to you? If I see you and I do this to you, you interpret that to be victory. So forget about rhetoric. Forget about rhetoric and any avenue to sip away from this matter. The principal concern that we must advance is that when it happens today, we don't talk about it. It will continue. It will fester. Becomes a norm. Somebody will copy it. Somebody will do it. And after that, you saw an individual reference Sofo Azoka and say that he said what he said, that if they had come here to meet the Honorable Minority Leader, Apenyo Markins, if they had come to meet him, he would be cemetery. You saw that. What he did is enabling another to feed on. So assuming that eventually, he actually saw him, then what would have been the outcome? So these are things that we have to question. These are things that we have to encourage the government to take action. The government, though formed or birthed by the NDC party, is separate from the party, and so should be in a position to check the excesses of the party, which was what was on full display in Akwàtià.
Richard, here's the thing. You're to blame as well as the New Patriotic Party, would you agree? Because you failed to sign a peace pact going into such a sensitive elections.
What would a peace pact have done to Sofo Azoka?
At least that would have been a clear indication of commitment from both sides.
But I'm saying that what would that have done?
That you were not going to tolerate such activity.
You didn't see us. You didn't see the New Patriotic Party visiting violence anywhere.
Yeah, but you didn't sign on to peace.
But what would that have got to do with it?
Yeah, but it's part of the peace
But
process,
I'm just saying that would that have moderated the behavior of Sofo Azoka?
No one knows, probably. Because you'd have had all leading figures of the NPP.
Let's get serious.
And the NPP.
Let's get serious.
This is a
no.
You do that for each presidential. You do that for each presidential.
Hold on.
You do that for the presidential.
Strategically, hold on.
Yeah.
You are strategically belittling the matter.
That's not the case.
What has been done is egregious enough for you and I to focus on and call the attention of the IGP.
And I'm also
so let's not digress and ask questions that don't
to what the political class has failed to do over the period. Committing to peace or
forget about peace pact. People have signed peace pacts and they misbehaved. I'm talking about self-regulation.
You didn't sign.
No, it has nothing to do with
you left.
Masa.
And we just said your general secretary said.
Let's get serious. I rode on a motorbike to come here, so let's talk about serious matters. Okay, I didn't risk my life to come here and talk about tangential matters. Honestly,
you feel that's
yes, that's tangential. You are belittling the matter. What I'm trying to tell you is that the Masawudu did not provoke Sofo Azoka, did he? While he was attacking and poking him in the face, he was telling my brother, we are brothers. And so when this matter is here, let's talk about it seriously. Let's not digress and then try to make it
You wouldn't want to take that?
No, focus on the matter. What he's done is wrong. Look in your camera and tell him it's wrong. Why are you trying to make it appear as if there is something else to excuse for that?
There's no excuse.
So let's focus and deal with that.
And there's no excuse also for not signing a peace pact.
Master, I don't know why you're comparing apples and oranges.
That
has nothing
so that you have a perspective of what needs.
Why? Is it by force? It's evolution. Okay, if you want to sign, you sign it. But then your conduct, you must believe in your conduct. Did we go there not sign the peace pact and go there to visit violence? No, we didn't. So what has that got to do with us? We knew we were going to go into the election peacefully. So what?
Like POG Media, any book so I say drop like na so subscribe to the POG Political Media so and tempana and any deal so bet me I drop pay or subscription at the POG say ban authentic political updates are a POG pair and so and now so submit me account the echo and the eba oh my Ghana political stream na I say man Richard here ba and so a day to a highway so come here almost entimi in process a young cuckoo almost anasi ntwa almost etimi akodi e wa Akwàtià ho ache se amanda anso da empu se almost betimi di nkuku e wa abato a the by-election almost ko jina akono na mo ke kan se bebre to NDC so se ejina NDC so and the former member of parliament and the man Akwàtià and so etimi to ananom ewo ensiado ne ho nsensem ba Akwàtià man enzo enhwe sansema NPP for the betu jai na omudi omakomachi anase omudi de omu se ebebo omochi onom de to aba the man the NDC candidate also presenting the man Akwàtià no measures beto so yet issues no that's
we sign the pact or didn't sign the pact, our conduct speaks for us. So Richard, that's the expectation you should have from the NDC. So those who didn't sign the peace pact, okay? who went there to visit violent, next time encourage them to sign the peace pact because they are violent by nature. And so therefore they must be forced to sign a peace pact. We went there, there was no violence on our side. When we were having peaceful interview, part of the electoral process, you brought your mic, we're just talking to you to inform Ghanaians, somebody has come to accosted us. And that one, you should be able to speak to it. You should be able to speak
Richard,
to it clearly.
I'm asking the question because I was there. I was following the minority leader, and part of the reason for which the statements were made was because your members protested that there was an NDC flyer, I believe, near one of the polling stations, and one of your men had attempted to take that down. That was when all of this started. And that's why I'm pointing out to you that possibly we should have had all the political parties, I mean your leadership, coordinate on committing to peace before, during, and after.
So what's your question in this?
Yeah, so largely it's not in a vacuum, is it? If you had committed to the process...
What's the wrong?
Yeah.
Possibly that you have a paraphernalia of a political party near a polling station. The EC is supposed to ensure that that wasn't the case. So if that's the case, canvassing real time for a political party at the polling station, and that is addressed, is it against the law? Does that attract retribution from the opposition? No. So imagine that I am wearing the New Patriotic Party's candidate, Soloba Sumedu's T-shirt to go and vote. You think the NDC will countenance it? They won't countenance it. So why would that be okay if they have that over there? So you should be able to see. Listen, these are some of the matters if we are determined to deepen our democracy. You should be able to say it without mincing words, to say that that was wrong, so that the NDC would know that the people know this is not acceptable. You understand? If you refer to the political class and you exclude yourself, it's a difficulty when you cannot speak the fact, because what you see is what you are reporting. Yeah. Do you, by standard or by norm, is it okay for that poster of the NDC or flyer of the NDC to be where it was?
Well, we should be asking the Electoral Commission why
but you know,
anyway,
that it's not okay. Yeah. Why they had to take it down is because it didn't have to be there. And so if they, by some deliberate oversight, they didn't take it out and somebody took it off, that person has not wronged any law.
Right.
They've not offended any law.
Richard, what's happening to the New Patriotic Party? You are now losing grounds, is it?
In what sense? You have
87 seats now, I believe, in Parliament. Not a good sign, not a good omen for the NPP, is it?
No, but political parties rebuilding in opposition, 8 years in government, obviously some of the policies that we're putting found favor with a certain number of Ghanaians, and maybe in some cases not exactly so. A new government is coming, rode in on momentum, which momentum, a lot of it was on a balance of deceit, made up promises that we're going to deliver A, B, C, D. Today, incidentally, when I was leaving my car, I just had this NDC social contract there. I don't know if you and I sit here and look through it, how many of it that the president has delivered. About 25 or 26 of them. We don't see anything, right? So, but then they came in with all that. And so the momentum that they rode into office is still there. It's waning considerably. They've lost the goodwill, but then there's still some measure of support. But you see, what we need to distinguish from Akwàtià that just happened is that the NDC didn't go to Akwàtià to campaign that since we came 8 months, 9 months now, we have told you that we will do 24-hour economy, and we have done it. We told you that we're going to ensure that there is employment for you young people through the Nation Coders program, through the Ejumera program, the Kukonketikiti program initiative. We're going to make sure that there is a big push agenda that is building infrastructure. And so therefore we have done those. And on the basis of that, vote for us. They went there to make a future promise. A future promise. If you listen to all of them, very inflammatory stuff was said. They made a future promise of what they're going to do. So they didn't win because they had performed. They won because they were dangling power in front of the people that we are in government. So if you vote for us, you'll get A, B, C, D. Much of it against the Constitution, because the Article 36 also guides and ensure that development is balanced, so that places or communities like Akwàtià needed to have some disproportionate allocation of resources to bridge the gap of the development of the place relative to the cities and all of that. But then you went there to dangle in front of them the power they have given you to say that if you don't vote for us, we will not develop your community. That completely is unconstitutional. It is wrong. But that's what they did.
Yeah, but you all do that, isn't it?
But what are we talking about? We're talking about what has happened.
Yeah.
Okay? What has happened is what we're talking about. Yeah, so why are you digressing?
You know I'll always bring it up.
No, but you first of all have to agree to what has been done here to be the case.
Richard, it appears you're not comfortable if I refer you to your own acts, which the NDC is also replicating
but listen,
now.
Why are we going back if we're supposed to be going forward?
Yeah, but you learn from experience.
We were a party in government yesterday. You, okay? Yeah. I'm representing the entire body of the citizenship. You went and voted for a different person. Now we'll talk about who is in power. Yeah. But if you're talking about yesterday, I'm not sure what progress you are seeking going back.
You learned from yesterday, so it informs what happens in the future.
Why I am saying, so if you hear me saying that that's not a right way to go.
So you agree
that by
the
implication,
NPP had laid the bad precedent, a reason for which the NDC is using it now.
I'm not saying that. What we'll be doing on your program, if we are not calling this out fair and square what it is, then we'll be laying a precedent that is not acceptable, because then people refer that the last time Blessed and Richard were here, Blessed justified it, Richard said, and Blessed said, because you did yesterday, it's okay. No, let's cut from the past, which is not okay. Do you agree with that?
Accountability is key in governance. You were in power, you just left office. I remind you, for instance, what President Akuffo had said at the time to the people of, I believe, Akumfi, for instance, telling them, well, you didn't vote for the candidate. I couldn't have brought development there. The NDC is doing same to you now, isn't it?
So you like it?
It's not.
Do you like it?
I don't vote in Akwàtià.
But you are engaged in a conversation that reflects something you don't like. So just say you don't like it.
I'm just telling you what you in the NPP had done in the past.
But that was yesterday.
But you must be accountable for that now.
Accountable in what sense?
It's what exactly the NDC
What is that accountability going to do for you?
It's just showing as precedents what's happened in the past and possibly what the political class is doing.
You should be one who wants to go forward. Ghana is moving forward, not going backward. You understand that proposition?
I believe that.
Okay, so if that is the way we are moving, what happened yesterday that you didn't agree with? Why are you trying to make it acceptable today because it happened yesterday, and what is the same thing you disagree with yesterday is happening, and you want to justify what happened yesterday? We have moved on from yesterday. We are going forward. So if you disagree with it yesterday, today, disagree with it. So that if tomorrow I come here to rationalize that, you tell me about Richard, this is a concluded conversation. Nobody wants to have that. So let's move forward. So next time somebody going out there to campaign using that will just completely roundly disagree that, look, Massa, this is not the way to go.
The people have bought into it. They voted in the NDC now. How does it make you feel as the NPP that you're increasingly losing your figures, or you would recapitalize on this and bounce back stronger as a political party?
Look, I tell you what, the by-elections don't count much in terms of predicting any trend. Okay, they are an isolated, very cut off from any trend that you want to analyze. And the messaging in that space, it is completely, not linked to anything. And like I was saying to you, the NDC didn't come fast because 8 months we performed A, B, C, D. No, they're still making new promises as if they're in opposition, except that now they have power to taunt the people with that if you don't vote for us, you don't get development. Completely unacceptable, undemocratic, but that's what they did. As far as we are concerned, if we had won, okay, it would have indicated to us the approach and the tactics that we're using. It will indicate to us that we are clawing back as fast as we want to be. But this will give us a certain indication. It would help us focus on the rebuilding process and ensure that the things that we need to do and ensure that our party is properly built from the ground up are put in place. And I think that we've got that lesson out of this, win or lose. So that is useful for us. It does not reflect our future potential. It doesn't say anything about our prospect in 2028. It would have given us a boost, but what I'm trying to indicate to you is that the loss has given us the same boost that we need to do more, okay? And the victory would have given us an indication that what we are doing is working. So either way, we are on a firm path towards restructuring our party.
And what would be your best strategy in making a strong comeback in 2028? You already have some internal challenges, isn't it, looking at your reorganization process? Quite a highly contested and some would say divisive exercise so far, with 4 or 5 individuals running to lead your political party. How are you planning to mend these faults and commentary and highly charged atmosphere leading to your reorganization, which is starting off in January?
Self-regulation, and everyone keeping their eye on the ball. The prize is not winning.
As is all coming home, I bought Eddie Raj Media and say POG the Abanokana authentic political update, POG persona own songs, I bet me a kind of who the echo and the air bar and say POG the authentic political update no POG perso and I bet me na someone like ya, Mr. Sobe like you medi, now so unding como bias one as a person and so and tempana no po at the rather comment section on that so wait me accounts and more on a POG Media man, yeah, na yes, ya baba my but that's it. So Jibre now come.